This month we're making a penny slider card. I didn't even move it and it moved. You see that? Oh my god, so cool. So this is the card we'll be making tonight, and it's actually going to be pretty simple, I think, or pretty quick. So if we have time, we'll go ahead and do both cards. Here's the second one. So if you haven't yet, grab 4 pennies because we may be able to do both cards. We need 2 pennies per card. So I'm going to turn my phone down so you can see my desktop. So let's go ahead and pull everything out of the bag. Move the envelope aside. The first thing we're going to do is, this is a, what do you call that, a sticker sheet, I guess. The machine turns everything into a sticker, but a lot of times the adhesive is still a little loose, so I like to just burnish it a little bit. You can just use your finger, you can use your craft stick if you want, but your finger's fine. And we'll just kind of rub that. We're not going to do it yet, but I just want to do this before I forget. So we'll put that aside for now. So the first thing we're going to do is take our cardstock, which is 5.5 by 8.5, score it at 4.25, which again I've already done for you, and just burnish that edge. And for this card, the fold is going to be on top. We're having it open this way. And you're going to take the larger piece, and we're just going to put some adhesive on and center it right on the card's base. Like I always recommend, you can use your middle finger, index finger, whichever. Put it underneath so you have some space between the card base and your card pattern paper until you know it's where you want it, and then let go of it and just rub it down. So this part right here is where our little spinner is going to go. Now if you look at the directions, I did talk about cutting a slip. Oh my goodness, a slit through the cardstock. So you can do this in many ways. I actually have a die, a steel die, that you just put on and run it through a machine and it cuts it out. But if you don't have that, you could also just, you know, draw it with a pencil, you know, in the back, draw it with a pencil. Where's the, oh, here it is. And the thickness or the width of the slit or the opening just needs to be big enough to where your dot can slide through. Also, if you have a punch, something like this, I don't know if you can see that, it's just a slit, and you can also do that. I'm going to show it to you this way. Is you'd punch, 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 punch until you got, you know, the majority of the card front. So you don't necessarily need the same die that I had. If you have a Cricut machine, you could probably even do something like this on your Cricut and just design it. But we could talk about that later. So the way I did the card is I have the slit a little bit less than half of the way down, and so the larger portion is going to be on top. And it's not going to be much difference, but you do want the larger one on top. So before we do anything with this, or before we adhere it, we're going to use our foam strips, and we're going to double layer them like we've done plenty of times in the past. So one here, and you know, I've always said don't do it all the way to the edge because you don't want it to peek through. So just something like this. You can see that. So you leave a little bit of space up there and the spaces on the side. Okay, so there's 4, and I have 4 left, and then I'm going to remove the top liner because I'm just going to stack another layer of foam adhesive. Just right on top of it. And the reason why I'm doubling up, God, I'm tongue-tied, is because we want enough room between this piece of paper and the card base so that this portion now remember it's going to be sandwiched between 2 pennies, can move freely, because if we only had the one, it would be too close to the card base and it wouldn't spin. Okay? All right. So now you're going to take the little foam circle. Oops. So all you're doing is just putting this in the middle of the penny, you know, as close to the middle as you can. And then move that to the back of your card. Penny on the bottom. Foam dot, sorry, I lost what that was, in the middle of your slit, and then remove that adhesive top or the liner, and then put your next penny right on top. Now, if you've got a problem using a penny and you just feel like, oh, that's wasting money or whatever, you could also use buttons, but just make sure that the buttons are flat. You could also use washers. Just, you know, make them small in size. You don't want it to be too heavy. You just want something pretty thin. But, I mean, it's already turning. Look at how cute that is. Oh, love it, love it, love it. All right, let's put our hand together. So just put your adhesive on that. Center it. Then also in your packet, you should have a glue dot, which is that little clear thing. Put your glue dot in the middle of your hand, then remove, and then you don't want to put too much of your finger on there. And then you're going to put this on the penny. So, like that. And you can just put a little bit of adhesive in the back of your little glittery flower embellishment. You don't even have to because that paper clip is going to hold it, but a little bit of adhesive is good. And just put it over here on the side. And then you're going to use this little baby paper clip to look like it's holding it. And of course, because we have the adhesive foam, it won't go all the way, but that's okay. If we wanted to, we could push it. Oh my god, that's so fun. Now we have our hello, which as you start pulling it off, you can see all the adhesive. It'll be very delicate because the lines are pretty thin, so just kind of just take your time pulling it off this sticker back. And then once you do that, I have it not quite in the center. It's really leaning more towards the right because this O is making this more centered. So somewhere along the lines of maybe here. Now the ones that are going to be fun to peel off are this O and this H. I don't know why, mine's sticking really hard on it, so. Now if you are somebody who needs to have this measured, feel free to grab a ruler or something to guide it. I eyeball everything, you guys know that about me now. And then just pull off your letters. Be very careful with this one. And then obviously the next step is to remove the backing from your foam adhesive. So all your little pieces of adhesive. No, just kidding. And then check your card, make sure it's opening on the bottom. And then center, eyeball the center. Remember your fingers are blocking the adhesive between the adhesive and the paper until you know this is where you want it. I'm pretty sure that's as easy, even as it's gonna get. Push down. There you go. That's it. It's a pretty quick card. So this one, basically the same, well, they are the same thing. The only difference is I did a different banner, and obviously it's an elephant. So this is a thank you card, but it's done the same way, and then we have little pearls.